Success is rarely a straight line. A best-selling author and former Maryland terrapin is living proof of that. And now he's sharing his unconventional path with readers in the University of Maryland's alumni magazine. In today's For Your Reading, Jummy Olabanji spoke to Jeff Kinney, the creator of the Diary-of-a-Wimpy Kid series, about his message for 2026 grads.
One of your latest works is actually for the University of Maryland, which folks might not even know that you're a terp, but pretty cool. And so talk to us a little bit about what you have given back to the university for this new issue of the alumni magazine.
You know, it was so cool to get that invitation. The editors reached out to me and said, we'd like you to do the cover story of Terp magazine. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's really cool. That's an honor. But then I said to them, I said, you know, the truth is, I kind of had a hard time at this school. I got a little bit lost. I wasn't the best student. I think my successes came after I left the university, but the university was a proving ground for me. It was a place where I first got my comic published, and I got to be a part of the Diamondback, which was a daily. So that turned me into a cartoonist later on. But I said, I think that the story that you want, which is this story of success at the university, that's not the story I can tell. And they really encouraged me to tell the truth about my experiences, to talk about my struggles, because they said that it might inspire other people who graduate from Maryland or are in the middle of their journey right now.
Which I think is so cool, especially these days. We talk to even just so many of our interns who come through here who are, you know, in school or just recently graduated. And a lot of them kind of feel like, well, you know, I don't know. I came thinking I was going to do this, and now I kind of feel like I've done this internship, but I don't know if it's what I want to do. But I think those missteps, as you say, you know, kind of guide us along into adulthood. Why do you think it's so important that, you know, even for all the success you've had, that you share that part of your journey?
I think that you don't often see that kind of a story told in an alumni magazine. Usually the story is pretty straightforward. It's like, here's where I learned to become this thing that I became. I was a criminal justice major. In fact, I was a computer science major who more or less dropped out of the major because of grades. And then I became a criminal justice major. And then later on in life, I became a computer programmer and then a cartoonist. So there was nothing really at the university that happened to me at the university in my academic career that would have predicted any kind of success going forward.
What's your message to young people? Because, you know, like I said, you talk to them now and there's just like, oh, AI is taking all the jobs and I don't know what I'm going to do. You know, a lot of students are kind of like worried about the future. So what is your message to young people who are getting ready to graduate, whether it's from high school or for college, as they enter this next phase of their lives?
The world is going to change much more than we can even anticipate. And I think the best thing that you can do is to be adaptable. I think that everything that you do in your life, every job that you have, you'll be able to use the skills that you developed in that job moving into your next job. I think I've had like 5 or 6 different careers so far, maybe even up to 10. And I never would have guessed that I would have done the things that I've gotten to do. So I would say, it doesn't really matter what your major is right now. Just find that first job. You don't need to get all the jobs. You know, try to get your foot in the door if you can. Learn what you can. Do your best at that job, and then move on to the next one. And you'll build up this resume. You'll build up this skill set. And as long as you stay really nimble, I think you'll be successful.